Hey everyone, it's Tammy from Appalachian Ambrosia, and today's good conversation is going to be with Dr. William Mark Handy, local family physician whose office is located in Abingdon, Virginia. And he's busy enough as it is, but he has added two more titles to his resume. So welcome in Mark Handy. You're going to talk to us about that today.
Yeah, hey Tammy, how you doing today? Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you. Now, before we get started, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were raised, anything about your schooling or profession, whatever you want to tell us.
All righty, all right. Well, Tammy and I are classmates of Emory Henry '86, so that's a good start right there, right, Tammy?
That's
so
right.
I was born and raised in Ennice, North Carolina, in a little small farming community on a dairy farm, and my mom and dad and my family milked for many years, and so raised down there. And so I always wanted to be a doctor, and since I was a little bitty boy, I guess because I'm the 42nd doctor in my family, going back generations after generations. So, but I'm the last one, unfortunately, living right now. I think I'm hoping somebody will come along later on, but we'll see. But I always wanted to be a doctor, and fell in love with Emory and Henry. Went to there as an undergrad. Graduated there in '86 with Tammy, a great bunch of crew there. We had classmates there at Emory. Then I went on to East Carolina University to get my MD degree. And then I went to East Tennessee State University and did my residency there in family practice. And I left there after graduating in '92. And then I went to a rural health clinic in Independence, Virginia. It was kind of interesting because that was also my family's doctor, and Dr. Towns and Dr. Givens have been there for many years, and took care of all my family. So I went there and filled Dr. Towns's place, who left to teach at ETSU, and was there for about 7 years. And then my father was very ill, and so I left there and did some moonlighting in some ERs so I could spend some more time taking care of my dad, and did that for about a year or so, and it brought me to Abingdon, where I did some moonlighting there, and decided I want to go back into practice again. Uh, After Daddy got a little bit better, and started practice there in Abingdon. And I've been there for about 20 years. I've been solo independent for the last 17, 18 years by myself. Had a nurse practitioner with me for a couple of years. And so I'm there solo by myself. I teach medical students at the University of Virginia School of Medicine for the last 20 years, 25, I guess, years. And I also, actually more than that, I started teaching those guys in 1995. So, gosh, going on 30 years, I guess, teaching those guys. And now I also teach nurse practitioner students, PA students from Emory and Henry College. So I've really enjoyed that. I've been doing that for the last year or so, and had them rotate to my office. So that's kind of me, and, my career and all. So,
I had no idea you had that many doctors in your
mm-hmm.
family, your
Yep.
family history. That's really impressive, Mark. I had no
Mm-hmm.
idea about that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of natural for you to become a physician then.
Yeah, I guess it was. Unfortunately, I didn't know a lot of them. I knew a few of them that all passed on before me. Is maybe my great and great grandmothers. All of her brothers were doctors, and all of her cousins were doctors, and then some of my cousins were doctors too as well there. So I never got to know all of them really well, but I had a history every time we had family reunions. Everybody, the older people would say, "Check my blood pressure," and hear Dr. Jones would come out, and he'd have his blood pressure cuff in his little black bag. He'd be coming in from Nashville, Tennessee, and check everybody's blood pressure. So I always found that very fascinating that Oren Jr. and Uncle Oren would do that. So that kind of got me into wanting to do medicine.
So do you have people at family reunions come up to you and say, "Hey, Mark, check my blood pressure"?
I have them come up to me at Walmart to check your blood pressure. I have
Oh
people come up,
gosh.
meet me and come to my door at my house, or if I'm playing music on stage, I have to stop between things. I got this little bowl I need to look at. I said, I don't need to look at it right now. It's okay. One intermission. So yes, I do have family members who do that.
Well, for full transparency, I will go ahead and say that you are my family physician, and I have been very thankful for your skills. You take really good care of me. You take good care of all of your patients. You've got a good reputation, and you're also a musician. We're both musicians on the side, and every now and then we get to play a little music together. So I'm so glad that we've reconnected over the years since college, and that you're my physician as well. But like I said, you are plenty busy. I don't know where you get your energy. because you drive from Ennice, North Carolina to Abingdon to your
Hmm.
practice, number one. So you spend a
Hmm.
lot of time on the road of the mornings and of the evenings, and you're taking care of patients and all your visits. And now, and I know you have a big family farm that you take care of, but now you've also added the title of Airbnb owner and country store owner.
Yeah.
So I want to let's talk about the Airbnb. How did that come about? And you can tell us where it's located, the name of it, and anything you want to.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Tammy. And first of all, I'm humbled and honored and privileged to be your physician and to being so welcomed in Abingdon in the area there. Just wonderful people that I've dealt with over the last many years and many more years to come there too as well. But I'm very humbled and very honored to have you have faith in me and my office staff and our abilities too as well. But the Airbnb, I never had any idea about that. My brother and I own about 1,000 acres of land here in Ennice and then also in Virginia, and we have about 500 head of beef cattle that we cow calf calve. Been doing that for God. I'm 57 all my life. Really, we started raising. My brother and I bought our first land when I was 8 and he was 7. We bought my aunt's out of my aunt's part of her part of our family farm when I was 8 and he was 7 by raising hogs. They had Alice and Ethel. We raised the piglets off of them, would sell them, and would save our money. So we had enough money that Aunt Margie wanted to sell her part of the old farm, and so we bought that 30 acres when I was 8 and he was 7. So that's kind of where it all started about that part. But we'd milked.
Wow.
Mom and Daddy had milked for my family milked for over 100 years. Anyway, this property is a little house. I always like this little house. It was the end of a road. It's on the back part of one of the properties that we have that goes against the Blue Ridge Parkway. And where I live at, Ennice is where the Blue Ridge Parkway crosses state lines. I live on the Carolina side. And so actually that one farm in there, the fence line on the back side is actually if you're on this side, you're North Carolina. If you're on the other side, you cross the fence, you're in Virginia. So it actually is a Virginia Carolina line there. And we're right there about a mile from the parkway. So anyway, this came up for sale, and it's a major right of way to the back part of the property. And so the lady sold it, and then the guy bought it, and he flipped it. And so he said, Mark, this is the back part of your property. You're interested in buying this? I'm going to sell it. And so I said, yeah. So we bought it, and it was already flipped, and I went ahead and just put furniture and stuff in there. But I thought, what we're going to do with this? And I thought, well, we'll do Airbnb. You're right here at the Parkway, and that'd be kind of a fun thing to do to meet folks and stuff like that. And the Blue Ridge Music Center, which is a major music center, is about 8 miles up the Parkway, and we're about 40 miles from Boone, about 18, 20 miles to Fancy Gap. So we're kind of right there in the middle. And we decided to go ahead and do that. And it's called Handy's Parkway Hideaway. And you can find it on Airbnb. But it's called Handy's Parkway Hideaway. So we started that right around December, January. Had my first guests in December. Some good friends of mine to kind of break it in. So we've been very fortunate. Had some great folks stay and got bookings already up for the rest of the year.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's a great location. Like you say, there's so much to do around that area. Ennis is about what, 10 miles south of Galax as
Mm-hmm.
well?
Yeah, about 10, 11 miles south Galax get off of 89 on 18 there. Little house, and we're 12 miles from Sparta, and we're about 15 miles from Mount Airy. So, and we're 18 miles up down the Parkway from Fancy Gap, where 77 goes down the mountain there. So we're right there on the edge. Cumberland Knob, actually, interesting. Cumberland Knob is where the Parkway started, and that's where they drove the stake and went north and went south. So right there is where we're at there. But the little house is it's 3 big bedrooms, 2 full baths. It's got a 2-car garage. It's very secluded back there in the back. We're going to put a deck on the back and a hot tub and a viewing deck out the back, as you can see way back into Galax and the Parkway up on the little knoll right there. So it's also got there's 150 acres of that farm that you can walk in and woods and streams and stuff like that. And there's a pond in there, so we're fixing back the pond, about a 5-acre pond that was in there. We're fixing that back sometime this summer or fall. And so it's like secluded. There's no one around you, and it's really quiet. And it's a nice little place to relax and hear the animals and see the birds and stuff like that.
So if you're into nature, if you're into hiking, if you're into Andy Griffith, you're close
Yeah.
to Mount Airy for the Andy Griffith Museum. And if you are into music like we
Mm-hmm.
are,
Mm-hmm.
then it's a great place to be. So you can go in all directions And so that's a good location, and I think you'll have great success with that. So,
Well, I appreciate that. It's good, Airbnb and Handy's Parkway Hideaway and Blue Ridge Parkway Hideaway is what it is there, and just this Airbnb stuff. I'd never done Airbnb. I'd never stayed at Airbnb. Never done Airbnb. I didn't know what to expect or what to do, and but I've enjoyed meeting the people and getting to know people from different parts of the United States. We're starting to get more and more as the pandemic is kind of slowing down a little bit. We're starting to get more and more people who want to get away out of town to a secluded place. It's quiet. Like I said, you can have your own home camp there. The store we're talking about in a minute is just a mile down the road. And you're right there at Galax. There's a lot of shops in there and antiques stores. Sparta's the same way, and so is Mount Airy, which is Andy Griffith, and music everywhere on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Music out there at the Blue Ridge Music Center. They have a lot of music out there on Saturday nights and on Sunday afternoons, and a couple of days a week they have music out there in the atrium. So if you're over this way, come by and see us.
all right. Well, I know you are a people person, so I know that the people who rent your Airbnb are going to enjoy having you as a host. So let's switch now to kind of the bigger venture, and I call it a bigger venture. They're both big ventures, but I call it bigger because it impacts the local community every day,
Mm-hmm.
and that is Handy's Old Country Store.
Uh-huh.
So tell me a little bit about that. When did you acquire the property, and
Mm-hmm.
just give me your story on that.
Okay. A little background. People say, why? And I got asked today at the store, why did I want to start a store? Well, both my great grandpas had stores, they had done away with them before I come along. My dad told stories of going to their stores. Grandpa Handy and also Grandpa Roop had their own country stores. And I heard all the stories and all the things there. So this came about as I was driving by this little place called Mountain Surf Seafood, which is a pretty famous thing over here. People come from all over to eat their seafood. But the pandemic, unfortunately, as with most small businesses and everything, restaurants kind of took their toll. And I think the owner also was kind of tired, and her son had passed away, and then we're just kind of looking to get out. So I seen the sign on a Saturday morning, and I called the realtor, who would be a friend of mine, and talked to him. And I said, let's look at it and see what you got. And we went down and looked at it that day, and he showed me around, and I talked to my brother and talked to my niece, Bailey. She's graduated from NC State with a ag business degree. So she's wanting to do business as well. So talked to them, and then we talked to the banks and acquired that about September of last year. And so we've been all this time, we've been open up about a month. We opened up in March, and we've opened up about March 24th, when we opened up, and up about a month. And so far it's going very well. It took a while, with the pandemic, trying to get, supplies in. Sometimes you get flooring and maybe take 3 or 4 weeks or a couple of months to get in, or sinks or all. So we had to do some remodeling in the building there. The kitchen was fine. It was a full restaurant kitchen, with all the stuff there. We acquired all that with the one price. And then we had to remodel the main dining room area, which is the main area of the store, and tear up flooring and put new flooring down. And I am not a carpenter. I can hand you a nail, I can hand you a hammer, I can pick out stuff, but I am not a carpenter. My brother is an excellent carpenter and an electrician and a plumber and all those good round things there. So we make a good team. He has one part and I have the other part of trying to think ahead about stuff. So worked on that, and then finally got together and just opened up about 4 weeks ago. So we're offering in our community here, it's an hour round trip to Galax, hour round trip Sparta, hour round trip to Mount Airy to get any groceries, vegetables and stuff. I mean, where I live at in Ennice in Allegheny County, we have one grocery store for the whole county. So that's it, and it's in Sparta. And that services about 10,000 people. So we have that. And then in our little community here, it's a big farming community, and we have a lot of migrant workers too coming in that work in the fields with the cabbage and this, that, and other. And we have that. And there's a lot of people coming through here, especially a mile from the Parkway. There is 5 miles from the store. There's a thing called Saddle Mountain Campground. It's got about 1,000 people out there who are part-timers and full-timers. And then about a quarter mile down the road from the store is it's called Deer Creek, and it's a big high-end resort camping park. I think each site goes for $100,000 a piece. Pretty fancy. They
Wow.
drive their cars into the back of their RVs. They don't pull them behind a little dolly. So that's the fancy bunch. And then right beside that is the regular folks like us, like me, who just have campers and pickups and all that. So that's just a quarter mile down the road there. So they're all excited about that. But the main reason we're doing it is for the community. It was going to be a good place to have people come and if they need a gallon of milk, or they need a loaf of bread, or we've got vegetables, we've got fruit, we've got cheese, we've got also store stuff and everything too. But we're trying to keep a lot of things that people essentials things there, and so people are appreciating that instead of having to drive, like I said, an hour round trip to Galax or hour round trip Sparta or hour trip to Mount Airy. You're able to come 2 or 3 minutes down the road there, and so we've been very fortunate and we're very blessed. And we're going to open up the deli. We're going to have food, breakfast, lunch, and a little supper every now and then. Start that in about a week or so.
Okay. Now, I'll just go ahead and mention you have a Facebook presence,
Yes.
and it would be really silly of me not to go on there and do some research before talking to you. But you're offering a huge variety of things. I saw some heirloom tomatoes on there
Yes.
that really took my eye, but local vegetables, your meats, your meat and cheese, is that coming from the Allegheny County?
No,
I
there's a
forget what
place.
it's called.
There's a place called Foothills Meat down in Elkin, and so we get that from. They have great, meat down there as far as ham and stuff like that, and we get our cheeses from down there too as well. It's hoop cheese, so we've got that. We get our jellies from Dutch Kettle. They have jellies, pickled eggs, all different types. I think about maybe there's 20 different types of jellies. Pickled eggs, pickled sausage, pickled bologna. I don't really know if I like pickled bologna or not. People love that stuff, I reckon. So there's a place in Hamptonville, which is just down the mountain, about 30 minutes away, that we go in there and get our. It's a Mennonite community, so they make their own jams and jellies, really good stuff there. So we get our stuff from there, and we get our stuff from there. So we're trying to resource all local stuff. And there's the story we went down last Wednesday. My mama did to get some jellies and stuff from Dutch Cattle at Hamptonville, which is about 30 minutes down the road. And anyway, I was driving back through the country there, back home, and just looked over there about a mile from the Dutch Cattle place, and there's a sign that said, hydroponic tomatoes. And so I just pulled in there, and this little Mennonite guy who has two greenhouses up in there, and he grows these beautiful hydroponic. They're small, they're not big, but that's okay. But they're packed full of flavor and very good. But we're getting our tomatoes, hydroponic tomatoes from them, but also heirlooms. And I have a garden, and so I have a big garden, and so we'll be selling stuff out of the garden there. But we're trying to source everything local that we can.
I think that's really important to support the local farmers, and they in turn will support your business as well. Now, you don't only carry food. I noticed on the shelf you had some oil for people who needed oil for their cars.
Yes.
I've noticed T-shirts, pocketbooks,
Bailey. That's been
flowers.
The biggest. You got flowers. That's the biggest thing's been the pocketbook. I think Bailey's already ordered. She's sold 50 or 60 pocketbooks so far on Facebook, and they come out and pick them up, and she's already ordered another huge shipment. There's another day wanting pocketbooks, so
I wondered if she had her fingerprint on the pocketbooks.
Yeah. Well, she's the manager. She manages it, and she runs it. She manages it and all. But she does that. And we have things for camping. People need to have like a lighter fluid and charcoal. We've got that. We're going to have propane in the next week or so with that too as well. Getting propane in there. People with their propane tanks camping and stuff. And we have some wonderful soaps and deodorant stuff like that from a place called Mule Hill, which is down on downtown Galax, and they make their own soaps and a thing called a dish cake. A dish cake is like dish soap, but it's instead of being liquid, it's a soap. It's a cake, and you put it on your dishes there and wash your dishes with it. It's really good. There's no mess or fuss about the thing getting stopped up too as well with all that. And they have their own soaps and stuff like that. So we're resourcing that. There's also a great place called Boonville, and Boonville down the mountain too, just not 10 minutes from Hamptonville, outside of Winston-Salem, that we get it's a meal called Boonville Meal, and they have the most wonderful flour and grits and buckwheat flour and stuff like that. So we're going there and get those things from those guys. So we've tried to source everything around that's different, but also local and fresh. We look on fresh too as well. And there's a couple of suppliers we have locally who do our produce and our stuff, and we hope to have. We're working on it, maybe in the fall or maybe next year at this time. We're working on it right now to sell our own beef in there, because we have Angus and Gelby grass-fed beef that we have, and so we got 500 head of I've got 200 head. I got 200 babies on the ground right now, pretty little things. But we hope to have be able to sell our own Triple H Farm meats there too as well. We sell our eggs there. We have our own chickens. Me and my brother do, and take care of them. As we have our own free range chickens, and the yolks is beautiful. It's like golden sunshine because they're out there in the field eating the bugs and stuff like that. So we sell those. So and we keep a cultural section. I call cultural section there, but we have some migrant workers, a lot of migrant workers in the area here. So we keep a section mainly geared towards the stuff that they like, their type of cheeses and stuff that they like there, and tortillas and this, that, and other. So we try to look, and we ask, people to tell us what they want and what they need. And so we try to supply that.
Well, you also, besides having the healthy stuff, we know that free range chickens and grass fed cattle are the healthiest.
Yes.
I did notice some Krispy Kreme
Yeah.
donuts on your Facebook page.
Well, that wasn't mine, but anyway, unfortunately, that's kind of one of those things we get every now and then. Unfortunately, the truck from Winston does not deliver up here. And just one of the girls that works at the store, her husband is in the hospital at Forsyth, which is right across the street from the Krispy Kreme donut place. So she brought those up, and we've sold a bunch of those. But we can't get them delivered to us. That is our problem. But we can't run to Winston. Winston's about an hour round trip, hour each way from home. So we'd love to have Krispy Kreme donuts all the time, but can't have them all the time. Wish we could.
Now, did I see some fried pies?
Yeah, there's fried pies in there. There's a place at Real Retreat that makes wonderful fried pies, and we've got the fried pies in there, and we've got, like I said, we've got the grits and got pinto beans in a big old bucket, and you kind of weigh them out yourself there. And we've got the produce, and let's see, we're keeping a lot trying to keep the tomatoes going. A lot of it depends on your supply. We're fortunate where we live at because we're right in the middle of a lot of things. We can go down the mountain to Winston or Decatur and get good produce, or we can go over in Hillsville and get good produce. So we're very fortunate to keep good fresh stuff there.
And you're also carrying some T-shirts, right?
Yep. We've got T-shirts. Bailey's ordered a bunch of T-shirts, Haynesville Country Store T-shirts that we have. We also have some, just some farm stuff and some stuff she has found. There's a website she goes to, and she's able to pick those things out there. So we're carrying T-shirts, and this fall we'll have some hoodies and stuff like that we'll have, and some sweatshirts and some hats. We got hats too. So just trying to publicize the place there. And you mentioned the flyers. Love my flyers and my stuff. There's a great place down in Ararat we got a contract with that they provide us our hanging baskets and our flowers. And I just put up a greenhouse today. We just got putting up a greenhouse this morning. So to put that in front of the store there to hang we're having to bring stuff in. It's been so cold here. So we're 3,100 feet. So we've been so cold here the last week or so. We get our stuff out on the front store. We have to bring it all in at nighttime. That's going to be a little bit of job and a chore. Plus, you worry about damaging the plants. So luckily, a friend of mine, she wasn't using a greenhouse anymore, Tim Betweening. And so she gave me her greenhouse. So we got that put up today. So we'll be able to put our stuff in there tomorrow when we finish getting it all fixed up there. So we have fresh flowers and produce. And since it's that, we've got tomato plants and squash plants, cucumber plants. We got all those things, onion sets, potato seeds, stuff that local farmers people do.
Sure. And that's going to be a great addition to have that greenhouse. That'll save you a lot of work, like you say, from bringing the plants in and out when it is cold. Mm-hmm. And it's also a good eye catcher when you're driving by to know that the plants are there. So we have to get on the subject of music a little bit. Yes. Do you have any plans for a jam session at the store at any time? Or
yeah, we do. Unfortunately, inside is not really big enough to have something like that inside there. It's it's a big space there. We've got it kind of full of things. I love antiques. You'll be able to see my old wood cook stoves, got my ham stuff on it, and I've got a big, buffet thing I've got. And yesterday I acquired a apple cider maker. It's about 100 and some years old, and I bought it there. So we'll be grinding apples this fall and stuff. And I got bought a big, bought a small buggy that a neighbor of mine had in his basement for 50 some years, and all of a sudden decided he wanted to sell it. And so I remember as a kid going to his basement and seeing this old buggy. So I've got this old buckboard out there. So we put stuff out there, but that sets up kind of the thing about on the porch out there. So we have a porch, and on the porch out there, we're going to have music out there on Friday nights. coming soon. We'll have to wait until the pandemic is. So it's going to be outside there. Then people can put their chairs out there and put their dates boards out there. We may we may make a big like a dance floor out there. For right now, we thought about pouring a cement pad, but for right now, we're going to probably put some plywood out there. So that'd be pretty good for all that. So we have that on. Hopefully, have it on Friday nights and invite folks to come and jam and have a good time. And I'm in two old time bands, which Tammy also plays in one of the bands too as well, which we love having her play with us. Toontown Old Time Band, which we're going to miss. We're going to miss frolics this year. I hate we're
Oh,
going
I
to miss.
know.
I know, but they're going to video. It's going to be videos, so I think it'll be fine. But
Right.
hopefully next year we'll be on there, Tammy. And we can have a big time with
That'd
all
be
that.
good.
You and I and Martha
That'd be good.
and all those guys there. But yeah, we're gonna have music there. Plan on having that on Friday nights. There's a place in Sparta called the Jubilee. I don't want to compete with those guys, but people put people hopefully out of the campground and get them used to the music around the area there.
Right. Well, the country store, the old country stores, were such a special place in communities. It was the gathering place for the communities, and it's still a gathering place. And I know that the folks in Ennis are very thankful that you have opened that business, and sort of a throwback to simpler times. And hopefully, you'll have some loafers there. You got to have a few loafers at a country store.
Oh, we got the crew. They've got their own little. My brother is in the corner. He's got a little table there, or big table there. And that's Mitch's spot. That's Mitch's conversation spot. So you got the loafers there. When we start having breakfast, which hopefully another week or so, it will be a big spot right there for them boys together and to talk. You think women in a hair place talks? Oh my God, nothing beats my brother and them boys gossiping. Oh my, you learn more with them through at 5 or 6. Oh my God, it is unreal. But they have a good time, and that's what it's all about. But you mentioned old country stores. The great old country store, which I've tried to emulate after, is Phipps's country store up in Lansing, which is up in Ashe County. They have a jam I think every Friday night they have a jam too as well. So inside there, so Phipps's old country store also in Lansing. I've tried to emulate the store behind too as well there, just to look at that. So I think it'd be pretty enough outside. If it's not pretty enough outside, we'll have some things inside. We have a basement that we're going to that used to be just a breakfast place, for years. It's been closed for 15, 20 years, and we're going to start remodeling it in a couple of months, and that will be a big place. We're going to put Carhartt and shoes and clothes down there and stuff like that. So we can also, it's a little bit bigger as far as spaced out, so we can probably put some dancing down there if the weather's pretty bad. But yeah, we
That'll be
have to
great.
come over and play one Friday night.
I'll be glad to. I'd be honored. Well, let me ask you this before we close. Are we going to see your sweet mama there?
Yeah, Mama's there. She's there every day. Of course, she's mows.
Is
She
she?
loves to mow yards, so she mows about 10 acres a week, and so she's mowing all the time. So she comes in there, at least once or twice a day, and yaks there around the corner too, right there where Mitch is. My brother comes every now and then too as well. So yeah, Mama be there. My niece will be there around it. We've got wonderful staff. I mean, we're very blessed and very fortunate. In this pandemic time, it has been hard in some instances to keep open and stay open, but also to find the help. And we've been very blessed, with the local help here, local people here that have wanted to work and just really take a hold and try to help us. We was putting me and my brother and I were putting up the greenhouse this morning, and one of the girls was just driving by with her boyfriend, and she didn't have to work today. She wasn't working today, and she stopped there, and they both of us helped us finish up putting the greenhouse because we had to put some stuff around there. So there's people like that we have that she could have went on by and said, "This is not my day to work, and I'm gonna go up the road there." But that's not what folks over here do. So they seen us putting that up, and they stopped and seen we were struggling because the wind was about to blow us away this morning. But we're very blessed, to have good community and good staff and good folks and good friends, and so we hope some people come by and just say hi, and if you don't buy anything, that's fine. You don't have to buy nothing. It's fine. Just come in there and look around and say I've been there. That's wonderful.
Sure, come in and browse and see what's there, and then come back
Mm-hmm.
by and buy
Yeah,
something too.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
local,
yeah.
if you're passing through, it's a different thing. But well, I haven't been yet, but I'm looking forward to coming over and browsing and purchasing something, and see what you have there, and just be a part of the country store. It's a very special thing that you're doing, Mark. And I know that, like I said, I know the community appreciates you, and I appreciate you taking your time because you are one busy man, but taking your time to talk to me this evening, and I will stay in touch and touch base back and forth every now and then to see how things are going. And if you ever want to pop on again and give us an update on things when you get the dance area ready or the basement or whatever, feel free to contact me. But I'll be staying in touch with you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I will say a little bit too as well. We also have, I have where I live out here, about 5 miles from the place there. We have an old barn that we converted upstairs. We have our dances in there. So that's a bigger place to have dances. So I wished it was, we could
Oh,
pick it up and
wow.
move it out to the store, but it's 5 miles, it's right here in my yard. So if you see my Facebook, you can see, see the barn there. But that's, we remodeled the whole top there. All we do is put new flooring down, and that's where we have like our breaking up Christmas parties, and we have stuff like that. But Tammy, you're always welcome to come if you want to stay and spend the night over at Airbnb. All you have to do is holler at me. Don't you have to worry about that a bit. And we'll make sure it's nice and clean
Okay.
and quiet for you too. And
All right.
but I thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate spotlighting these folks and stuff. They're doing different things out there, but and you too as well. Somebody needs to interview you for all the good things you're doing.
Well, I've had a reporter to talk to me. She hasn't. We haven't set up a time yet, but she wants to talk to me about what's going on. So,
Well, I think this is
mm,
awesome. I greatly appreciate you, include me in your conversation, and it's been a wonderful conversation with you, a good conversation. I always love talking to you, Tammy. I also love playing with you and hearing your beautiful voice and all the multi-talented things you do with the instruments that you play. So we'll get together
well, I
soon and
appreciate
play
that.
some music and have a good time again, and this will all be behind us.
That's right. We'll celebrate big for sure. Well, thanks again, Mark, and I'll be talking to you soon.
You have a very blessed day, and Saturday out there, Tammy, and come see us.